What's up, Vikings fans? This is Chris Corso with Vikings.com, and we are calling into the Zimmer Ridge Ranch where Vikings co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach Adam Zimmer is hanging out. So what's going on, man? How's it going over there?
Not too bad. Just like everybody else, trying to wait this out. But got a pretty nice day here at the ranch, so enjoying the weather and making the most of it.
What have you guys been up to over there? I hear you and head coach Mike Zimmer have been playing a little bit of golf, and I know you're a big Peloton guy.
Yeah, we went. We put in some tee boxes up here on the hill, and we're hitting over the pond and made a little green. It's got a flag in it, so doing that, doing Peloton every day. Trying to stay busy as much as I can.
Well, you begin your seventh season with the Vikings in 2020, and what a way to start as a co-defensive coordinator, adding 9 players to the Vikings defense in the draft. I mean, you guys got a pretty big haul of players to work with here.
Yeah, we did, and we're excited that it fell the way it did. We're excited about the corners. We're excited about the linebacker. I know Andre's really excited about the defensive lineman we got. One of them was his pet cat from the beginning of this whole process. So we had some holes we needed to fill, and hopefully once we get these guys on the field and see what they can do, they live up to what we expect.
The big hole that you guys filled in this draft was that cornerback position. You have a few players that leave in free agency, but Jeff Gladney, I know your dad loved this guy. Just a player who's he always guarded the number 1 wide receiver at TCU in that conference. What do you really see from Jeff Gladney at the cornerback position?
Yeah, I love his competitiveness, his toughness. He plays with a passion for the game. He's 5'10", so not the tallest corner, but I think he makes up for it with his long arms. Makes a lot of plays on the football. He's feisty, and we got in a little scuffle against Baylor, and we got to tone that down. But I'd rather have him be feisty and tell him to ease off than not have the bark in him. So I really like a lot of the skills he has, and I think he's going to come in here and help us.
Yeah, I heard your dad and Vikings general manager Rick Spielman talking about that game against Baylor where he took Denzel Mims, a second-round draft pick this year, and completely shut him down. What was it about that game that really caught your guys' eye?
Well, it was just really well-played defensive game overall for TCU. And, Baylor was a dynamic offense, and they have got dynamic players. And, he did a great job of shutting those guys down, being competitive. Again, he was one of the top receivers in the nation, and he really handled them pretty well.
From one cornerback to the next, we have a longer definitely athletic cornerback out of Mississippi State in Cameron Dantzler. Played a ton of big snaps against some competition in the SEC. What do you see out of Dantzler?
Yeah, he was a guy that our defensive backs coach, Durante Jones, identified early in the draft that he was one of his favorite guys. He's got really good length, good size. I mean, he's got, physicality to him, and he can finish on the football. And when I watched him on tape, you watch all these top 10 corners, and, they're playing LSU, and Jefferson and number 1, who's not even allowed in the draft this year, was killing everybody. But Cameron was able to shut those guys down in that game, and they played them really well. And so, that said to us that this kid's got something to him.
10 passes defensed in 2019, doing it against players like his brand new teammate in Justin Jefferson at LSU. We'll skip a few of the defensive linemen here and let Andre Patterson talk about those guys. But I want to go to your pet cat. As your dad described, Troy Dye out of the University of Oregon. The Vikings able to get this guy with the 132nd overall pick. This was your pick pretty much.
Yeah, me and Nick Rallis really like this guy. I know the family pretty well. I coached his brother in Cincinnati. I think he's a modern day NFL linebacker. We talk about 2-down mics all the time. Well, that doesn't exist in our defense anymore. The things we ask Eric Kendricks to do is covering deep balls and on first and second down and all the spread out offenses we see. You have to have athletic linebackers that can run, change direction, and play physical, and that's what Troy does. And then the other thing you have to be in our defense as a linebacker is be smart. And I spent time with him at the combine, and Nick spent time with him on FaceTime, and he really picks things up quickly, and just like the rest of the guys in my room, they're really smart, intelligent football players.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew this, but Dye is the only player in Oregon history to lead the team in tackles for 4 consecutive seasons. So he clearly made an impact on that program right away when he stepped in there.
Yeah, I saw that stat the other day, and it's evident on tape. He's a playmaker. He makes plays all over the field. He had a huge play in the Rose Bowl against Wisconsin that kind of turned the tide of that game. He can get the ball out, and he tackles sideline to sideline. So we're excited to work with him.
Another player I really want to ask you about, and I had the chance to speak to him right after he was drafted by the Vikings. It's Josh Metellus with the 205th overall pick out of the University of Michigan. And he really stood out to me because it seemed like he had a chip on his shoulder because he's like, yeah, I'm a dog. I should have been drafted a little bit earlier than this.
Yeah, you see that competitiveness on tape. He's a feisty guy. Got a good skill set to work with. I know the DB coaches were excited that we were able to get him where we did. He's going to fit the mold. He's another guy just like Gladney, coming from a really good program. These teams like Michigan and TCU play really good defense, and they have for a long time. And I think that translates well to what we want here is guys that want to be part of a good defense.
74 tackles last season, 4 tackles for loss. Started 13 games for that Wolverines defense. What does it say, like you said, about getting these players from these big-time programs who really have established defenses for years? I mean, the Michigan Wolverines, that's one of the best rushing defenses in the nation last year.
Yeah, they've been good for a while. And I think, they get that mindset of being in a good defense, and that's the mindset we want to have here. Actually, last night I was watching Michigan's defense against Ohio State and saw Ben Gideon play, and he made a big hit on the quarterback, and I sent the text to the group. And Michigan's played good defense for a long time, and you saw on the game last night that was on ESPN.
Well, Coach, I hope you stay safe out there. Life could be worse. You could be places other than the Zimmer Ridge Ranch coaching football.
I was getting a little antsy there in my apartment, so I had to drive it down and get somewhere I can get outside.
All right, well, stay safe, Adam, and we hope to see you back in Minneapolis sooner rather than later.